And the question becomes, political science comparison between Tommy Robinson, English Defence League, BNP, British Nationalist Party, aka Imposter Tommy Robinson, aka Stephen Yaxley, versus Adolf Hitler, NS, National Socialist Party, the Fuhrer. No. You already know who it is. Uncle Del Boy Diablo. Diablo TV, like, subscribe, do things you're supposed to do. Your political science mastermind at large. Now then, everybody knows I come from an anti-racist background, anti-fascist background. So let's just say that you got two sides. You got the Tommy Robinson, EDL, National Front, BNP, Combat 18, Blood and Honor, then the Fascist Party over here, Mussolini and all them, and then the National Socialist Party, the Germans, Nazis, and so forth. Or whatever you want to say, oh, I'm not racist, fine. But politically speaking, they're far right, and even if they say, oh, he says, I'm a centrist. Yeah, real centrist. But on the other side, obviously, you have the anti-racist, anti-fascist, and wherever you put me and him in that quadrant theory, you know what I mean? There's other ways to view it, horseshoe theory, blah, 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 blah. Wherever you place both of us, let's put me on this side, so eliminate me from the conversation, and let's compare their leaders. In this particular case, and I could do a lot more on these videos. In this particular case, you have Mr. Yaxley, Mr. Tommy Robinson, versus Adolf Hitler. And what makes them similar, not the racial, not, let's say, let me say this very clearly. National Socialism, a nationalist form of socialism, Nazism, but there's more to it, because I believe in a nationalist form of socialism, National Bolshevism, but it's not National Socialism. So there's a distinction. So the basic premise of socialism, when you go back to the original Marxism, which is an incomplete theory, until you get Leninism and the vanguardism and Marxism, Leninism, Stalinism, bomb. So now let's say to the people who's in the original camp and some of the original premises, the premise, let's say, workers of the world unite. It's about the working class overthrowing the ruling class. So then when you look at it like that, that division, us, the working class, across all culture, color, and religion lines, the oppressed people, we feel we're oppressed by the capitalist overlords, the ruling class, the elites, and the ruling class used to be the monarchy and the papacy, so religion and monarchy, and then it became the capitalists and the politicians, and they're all, in other words, that's the right wing. The left wing is the common people, but then the ruling class has divided the working class into left and right, which is really more arbitrary. We should be against them. So then the notions of socialism is that all of the working class across the entire divide should be united against overthrowing the ruling class and seizing the means of production. Now, when you get to the specifics of it, that's where it doesn't work out. And that's where Vladimir Lenin had to come in with the Marxism, Leninism, with the vanguardism, and made it an effective theory, the most effective revolutionary theory to this day. So now, with the Stephen Yaxley, and people wouldn't call him a socialist. Oh, he's not a socialist. He doesn't know what he is. He doesn't know this kind of theory. He talks to other people who don't know these theories, these political science theories. And if you don't like Cullen Mice, you got that guy talking about politics. Cullen Mice talking about politics. What's his background? Oh, I spent 400,000 pounds of my father's money on heroin. His political theory is take the money of a capitalist and invest it in drugs, in putting heroin into your system. Oh, brilliant. Now then, me, I fought an anti-racist war, and then I got into leftism, right? And my background is, my grandfather my adopted grandfather fought in Normandy. He's Jewish and fought the Nazis, and my family, and Adolf Hitler. My grandmother was in college with Fidel Castro, and I grew up hearing these political discussions, communists and National Socialists, and look at all my lifestyle. So, talk politics with that guy. Yeah, you take somebody, Tommy Robinson, it's like this. Anyway, so the thing about it is, how is Tommy Robinson, Stephen Yaxley, a socialist? Well, in the same way that Adolf Hitler was, in the sense that they took socialism and rather it be class-based, the working class versus the ruling class, you know, the bourgeoisie versus the proletariat. But then we come out with a vanguard party on top of the proletariat, and that's what distinguishes us. But either way, it's what he's talking about. Same thing like Adolf Hitler said, which is to say that no, it's class-based. It's race-based rather than class-based. So he's saying that things should be divided up among who's British and, has the British value. So race and religion. Like he said, okay, he's cool with blacks and he's cool with anybody, of other races and Asian people and Muslims, so long as this, that, and we British and these guys, these immigrants, and I agree. And I agree with it here too. Immigrants shouldn't get social benefits before your native population and your veterans and stuff like that. Yeah. Close the border and take all the money that you'd be giving to them and give it to our communities. Give it to the working people. Oh, well, that's not what they do, though. So all of us can agree with that. And if you look at left-wing countries, they have closed borders. They have border security. What do you mean? You can't go freely and demand your way into and claim asylum in China, North Korea, Cuba. What are you on about? Those are left-wing countries. Those are socialist countries governed by communist parties. Do they allow open? So then there's a distinction between leftism, between the anarchism. That's what it is. These guys have an anarchist viewpoint or an internationalist socialist viewpoint where they don't believe in borders and they believe migration is a right. But Marxism, Leninism doesn't believe that. National Bolshevism doesn't believe that. No vanguard, no Leninism form believes that. So then that's all the socialist governments in the world. These other ones are not socialist, Western European ones. So the thing is, Tommy Robinson is complaining that British whites and blacks and others, but British white people aren't getting the benefits that the immigrants are getting. So you want social programs for white people, but for what? You just want to get money and housing. You're not trying to elevate your people. You're not looking at the wealth of culture underneath you. You're not trying to elevate the British people. That's what I'm doing. I'm taking stuff from your culture that, as an American, I'm into. The way of dressing, Fred Perry shirt. I got Fred Perry tattoos. In Malaysia, there's skinheads and there's hooligans and casuals are spreading everywhere. Now, if you start mixing that with politics and organizing them to do your political bidding, then you're hurting the cause. How does Tommy Robinson organizing these recent riots, how does that advance the cause of British hooliganism or British casuals culture? It's the opposite. Because a lot of lads are going to be out there. Of course they are. And now people get it stitched up and everything. So then when you compare Adolf Hitler and Tommy Robinson, Tommy Robinson is less than zero leader. He's had a negative overall effect compared to me. But then when you say Adolf Hitler, obviously we're talking about somebody who, he is who he is. So in terms of the far right comparison, they do the same thing. They replace the class division with racial and religious division. But, I feel bad for his supporters. I'll leave it there. You decide. Tell me in the comments.